Assalamu alaikum, students of class 6 and 7. Hope you're all keeping well. So today is another ICT practical class aimed at both of you groups, class 6 and 7. And the reason being is that the previous classes were both focusing on Microsoft Excel. So today's activity is going to let you guys develop on those Excel skills by making your own timetable. So all of you have got your own personal timetable that you follow whenever you come to school. And what you're going to do in today's class, you're going to actually make your routine. Okay class, so this is what the goal of today's lesson is. We're going to find out how can we make the routine that we have inside of our diaries. So this is my actual routine, and here you can see that it's color coded and the different colors mean different classes. So orange is class 3, green is class 4, that light blue is class 6, and the dark blue is class 7. So that's what the goal of today's class is. You're going to make your own routine using Microsoft Excel, and you're going to color code it so that different subjects have different colors. So let's find out, how do we make our own routines? So let's open a blank sheet of Excel, and the first thing is to make the actual table where we put the timetable information inside of. So to make our routines, we need 11 columns and 8 rows. So 11 columns is going to be column A all the way to column K. So if you remember to resize multiple cells, just highlight the columns or the rows. So I'm going to start with the columns. So I'm going to highlight columns A all the way to K. And I want to resize these at 100 pixels. I think that's enough to put in the information that you need. So there you go, I've got 97, okay, 101 pixels. So that's all at 101 pixels. If I click in between the cells, 101 pixels is displayed. So all the columns are at the same size. Now I do the same thing with the rows. So I highlight rows 1 to 8, and now I'm going to put my mouse in between one of the rows, and I'm going to resize these at around 50 pixels. Okay, so there we go, 51 pixels, no problem. So now you can see all the different rows are at the same size. Okay, row 1 is 51, row 2 is 51, as such. So that's how you resize your cells, if you remember. So now that I've resized the cells, I can put in my borders so I know where am I writing. So I'm going to highlight the 8 rows and make sure the 8 columns are highlighted as well. And now I'm going to go to the borders menu and just click all borders. Okay, now if I go back into our end goal, so this is a complete routine, you can see that there's one big cell where the name of the person's routine is written. So how do we do that? So this is where we need to use the merge function. So the merge function in Excel is where you can combine many different cells together to make one big cell. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to highlight everything from A1 all the way to K1. And then I'm going to click the merge and center option. So when I click this, everything is going to be combined to make one cell. Now you can see all the lines have been removed. And when I click onto that cell, it is showing me that I have one big cell for A1. So again, if I click the merge and center option, now you can see all the lines have now reappeared onto the cell. Okay, so that's what you need to do to make that one big cell where you put your name and class and section inside of. So I'm going to highlight this, and then I click on the merge and center option. Now you can see all the lines in between the columns have been removed, and now I can put in some information inside of the cell. So I'm going to put down, okay, the name of the person and routine. So you'll put your name, class and section inside of this area of the routine. So you just use the merge and center option to combine to make one big cell. So now I can slowly put in all the information that I need inside of our table. So what you can do, you can input all the information first and do the light formatting afterwards. So Monday starts off with Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So you can use your mouse or use the arrow buttons on your keyboard to move in between the different cells. Okay, so first period, second period, and then we've got gap, third, fourth, fifth, and then the gap, sixth, and then another gap. Then we have our 7th period. So again, time, so remember the first period starts at 8:10 and that finishes at 9 o'clock. Okay, and then 9 o'clock all the way to 9:45. So I'm not going to put in everything, just giving you an idea. So you slowly put in your information inside of the table. And then once you put in some information, then you can start formatting, like putting the information in the middle of the cell. So remember, use the alignment buttons to position your writing in the middle of the cell, etc. So I'm going to make sure these are in the middle of the cell and also aligned in the middle as well. So same thing, just highlight your selection and then make the amendments as such. Now we're going to start to put in some information inside of the subject section. So let's say on Sunday in the first period we have English Creative and the teacher is me, for example. Now if I press enter on the keyboard, usually that makes a new line when we're using Microsoft Word, Excel, right? But if I press enter now, it moves me to a different cell. So how do we make a new line inside of one single cell? We need to use Alt and Enter. So I'm going to click back into that cell where English Creative is written. So I make sure I click into the formula bar, and now I press Alt. I hold on to Alt on the keyboard and then I press Enter. Now I can make a new line inside of one cell. So that's how you'll put your information in. So let me go to the second period, and I'm going to put on, let's say we've got science. So I hold on to Alt on the keyboard and then I press Enter, and now a new line has been made inside of that cell. So now I'm going to put in the name of the teacher or the initials, and there we go. So that's how you put in your subject information, because you're going to need two lines, right? You have the subject name and then you have the name of the teacher who's delivering the class. So to make that new line inside of one cell, you hold on to Alt on the keyboard and then you press Enter. So one more time on the third period, I'm going to put down, let's say there's maths class. Okay, so I hold on to Alt on the keyboard and then I press Enter. Now I've made a new line and I can put in the name of the teacher. So that's how you make a new line inside of one cell. Hold on to Alt on the keyboard and then press Enter. Okay, so once you put all your information in, then you can start to decorate or format your timetable so that it looks more presentable. So align them in the middle so everything looks neat. Okay, using the alignment options inside of the home menu. Now let's look at the break options. So if you look at your routines, there are some big gaps where your break, lunch and prayer times are given. So just like we did at the beginning, we need to merge cells together to create that blank space. So here in between the second and third period, we have our break. So I'm going to highlight those cells and then I'm going to click merge and center. Now I can type in break time. Okay, and I do the same thing where lunch and prayer is. So highlight those cells, click merge and center, and I can type in the name of the break, and that's how you do it. So highlight those cells, merge and center, and I can type in the name of the break. Okay, now there's one more thing that you'll notice. So the break, lunch and prayer options, times, they are written vertically. So to do that, again in the home menu next to the alignment options, there is an orientation option. So if I click onto that drop down arrow, I select vertical text, and now you can see break is written the same way as it appears inside of your routines. And then just align that in the middle so that it looks exactly the same as it does in your routine. So again, inside of the home menu, just click onto the writing and then use the orientation option and select vertical text, and make sure you align that in the middle of your cell. Okay, so just use the orientation option to change how your writing appears. Okay, so once you put in all your information inside of your routines, then give some color coding to the different subjects. So let's say I've got English here again, so I can get English everything as blue, and I can have maths everything in red, for example. Okay, so that's what I'm going to see you do inside of your routines, that you're giving different subjects different colors, etc. Okay, so I hope that's clear to you guys. So use the merge and center function to join multiple cells together, and that's the key thing. And if you want to make a new line inside of one cell, use Alt and Enter to create that new line. Okay, so remember, Alt and Enter, hold on to Alt and Enter, then I'm creating a new line inside of one cell. Okay, that's the key thing to remember when you're making your routine. Now, what if you made a mistake inside of one of those cells? So let's say that you want to change the name of a teacher or the name of the subject because you made a mistake. So if I click onto the cell, so I'm clicked onto the maths cell here, and we can see the teacher here is labeled as FF. So if I look in the formula bar, only maths is written. And if I want to see what's written on the second line, I just press down on the keyboard, and now I can see what's written in the second line of the cell. So if I want to make the change, I can just delete that and type in the change that I want to make. So again, if I'm clicking onto the IME cell where it says the teacher's name is DE, say that I made a mistake there. So if I click onto the formula bar and I want to see what's visible on the second line, I just press down on the keyboard, and now I can see what's visible inside of the second line. Okay, so that's how you can make changes inside of a cell with multiple lines. Just click onto the cell, go to the formula bar, and then press the down button on your keyboard, and then you can see what's visible inside of the second line. Okay, class 6 and 7, I hope the demonstration was clear to you. So just some tips to keep in mind when you do start to make your timetables. So the best dimensions is to keep it at 11 columns by 8 rows. That's the best way to plan it, so you've got enough room to put your periods, time, and all the different subjects, etc. So some other tips: remember, if you want to combine many cells together, use a merge and center option. You highlight the selected cells where you want to combine, and then you click on the merge and center option. That allows you to join cells together. And then when you're inside of a cell and you want to create a second line, then use Alt and Enter. So hold on to Alt on the keyboard and then press Enter. That way you can create a second line inside of a single cell. And if you want to change the orientation of your writing, you want to write like diagonally, or if you want to write vertically, then use the orientation option. So the merge and the orientation option, they're all inside of the home menu. And another thing to keep in mind is your user alignment options effectively. You want your timetable to look nice and neat, so always make sure that you're aligning your writing in the best way. So use a normal alignment, also use a cell alignment, so that you're positioning your writing nicely inside of the cell. So I hope you benefit from that class and hope you have fun making your routines. Remember to decorate it nicely as well. Use the fill options so that you can shade your table, so give different subjects a different color, and have fun making your own routines. There'll be some more practical lessons coming up in the future. In the meantime, take care, and let's hope the situation gets better soon. Stay home and stay safe. Assalamu alaikum.